Alright, welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about the MFC L6700. This also applies to the MFC L5755dw, the MFC L6900dw. Yes, the MFC L5755dw, the printer HL-L6400dw, the printer HL-L6200dw, the HL-L5200dw, the MFC-L5850dw, the MFC L5700dw, the MFC L5900dw, the MFC L6900dw, the MFC L6800dw, the MFC L5705dw, the MFC L6750dw, the L6900dwx, the DCP L5500dn, the MFC L5700dn, the MFC L5750dw, the HL-L5000D, the HL-L5050dn. Okay, so if your printer is on that list, today's repair and today's fault applies to these series of machines. So the printer we have here today has got a problem with it paper jamming. So I'll just show you how it's paper jamming. We'll hit the toner, then we hit test print, we go yes. Now the machine will randomly paper jam. It will paper jam after a high volume number of pages in a print job has been sent through. So in this case the machine hasn't paper jammed and we've successfully been able to get the paper out. But if we have a look at the quality of the prints, you can see here the print quality is very grainy. And if we try and zoom in on the patches, you'll see it's all fuzzy and grainy, and as the paper goes through the machine this way, if you have a look, you can see there's like a dragging effect that's happening. You see down here, you got all these sort of grainy grains. So looking at this printer, we can see that this machine actually has two problems. So the first problem we're going to fix today is that this machine has a stalling fuser assembly. So if we look at the blacks in the printing, it's very grainy, it's not a solid black, so that tells us that the fuser unit in the machine is not working properly. It also tells us that there's an issue with the cartridge. So get the cartridge out. So in Australia the codes used for the cartridges are the TN3440, the TN3410. we just have a look at this cartridge, we can see that the cartridge does not have a uniform coating of toner on the development roller here. We can get it in focus. So this machine has two faults that we have to fix. Alright, so we go around to the back of the machine, we open the rear door up, we open the inner rear door, and that takes us to the fuser assembly and the fuser rollers. So these fuser rollers will be slightly wrinkled. That is normal as the roller expands and contracts, because this fuser unit is heated to 200 degrees Celsius. And the rollers, the lower roller himself, the black roller here, it's got wrinkles on each edge already built into the roller. That's how it comes from the factory. So the problem is that above this solid black rubber roller, above it is a film, a flexible film. You can see there I'm pushing and it's flexing. The problem is this film, it's called a fuser film, is not rotating at the same speed as the lower roller is rotating, and that's what's leading to the fuzziness, the blurring of the prints. So what we've got to do is we've got to pull this fuser unit, this whole fuser unit out, and we need to basically rebuild it. Or alternatively, you can buy a new fuser unit and install that, and that will fix the problem. So yeah, we'll get into it and we'll see if we can get it fixed in a timely manner. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to remove the toner and drum unit, and we need to set this aside somewhere in a dark place, like in a cupboard. So in this drum unit toner assembly, we separate the toner from the drum, and we're left with the drum. So this red coloured drum is called a photoconductor. Photo meaning light. It's sensitive to light. If you leave this out of the printer any longer than about 10 minutes in normal daylight, this unit will get wrecked, and you will end up with either repetitive black smudge marks down the page, or you'll end up with repetitive white voids where toner is no longer being transferred. So stick this back in, we'll go stick it in a dark place, and we'll put that aside while we're getting into the repair of repairing this printer. Alright, so it's a bit of a nice day today, so I thought I'd bring the printer out into the sun and we'd work on it out here in the garden, just to make things get some warmth from the sun, because it's winter here in Australia at the moment. So what we're going to do first is pull the duplex unit out and just set that aside. The tools we're going to need to fix it is we're going to need a flat blade screwdriver, a pair of long nose pliers, a Phillips head screwdriver. We'll need a couple of clean rags, a bottle of mineral turpentine, and maybe a few other things as we go. And the grease. So this is a special type of fuser grease that we use in Brother monochrome laser printers. It is not the same as the fuser grease that gets used in Canon and Hewlett-Packard laser printers, or Konica Minolta, or any other printer that uses fuser films to melt the toner onto the paper. It's a special type of grease that's designed for metal fuser films rubbing against metal heater plates. You can buy this grease on my website. Just head over to fixitfastelectronics.com. I'll put a link below in the description. We ship worldwide for free. We do give discounts if you buy more than one. But this is the crucial part to successfully repairing this printer and making it print normally again. Over the years, I've found that in certain printers at the factory that just don't simply use enough of this grease, and what happens is the grease dries out. It also gets influenced by non-genuine toner, poor quality non-genuine toner. There are good quality non-genuine toners out there, but the really poor, the really cheap toner cartridges, they spray toner all through the inside guts of the printer, and that toner eventually makes its way in contact with this grease. And toner being, when it melts, it becomes like hot glue, your hot glue sticks, and it just binds the film up. So first thing we got to do is we need to open the rear cover. Then we need to push on this over here, and we need to release this. We need to come over here and we need to release this side. So we're just pushing in this direction and pushing in that direction with one finger and the other like so. So then we can just pull this cover out. We've then got to remove the inner guide here. It's just simply a case of pulling that down. It's kind of keyed over here. It comes out. And then we have to remove the inner door. So we push on this lever here, and bring the door down like so. And then this inner door just simply lifts out of the printer. So now we're out in the sun and we can see things a bit better. I can see with this printer we're in for a bit of a rough ride. So if we have a look over here, this roller is actually damaged. So you can see, if I can get that into focus, you can see there is an outer micro thin layer of plastic on this lower pressure roller. Here the outer layer has split open and we can see the black silicone rubber on the inside of this outer clear coating. So this roller is completely stuffed. We will have to change this in this repair. Alright, so the next thing we have to do is we have to remove this earthing spring that's here. This spring is very important. Do not forget to put it back in the printer when we put the printer back together. As the fuser film up here is rotating, it's creating static electricity in certain conditions. The plate that comes in contact with this makes an electrical connection through the spring that's here, and that drags it down to the earthing plate down underneath the body of the printer, and that just stops static electricity from going. If you forget to put this in when this thing's rotating at high speed in really dry arid zones where you don't have a lot of humidity in the air, this thing can generate up to like 2, 3, 4, 5 kilovolts, and if that sparks out to the body, it blows up the motherboard of the printer. I've seen that multiple times from other printer technicians in the area that have worked on printers before me. yeah, so just beware, don't lose this when you've got it out. So it's just simply a case of pulling it down. So we've released it from that end and simply lift it up. It's out, put it aside and do not lose it. Alright, so next we're going to remove this cover plate, we're going to remove this cover plate, and we're going to remove this screw which locks the fuser unit in. So we'll start off by removing this cover plate. This cover plate then lifts up and over. That gives us access to the leads, the sensor for the temperature and the jam sensors. Now you need to be very careful removing these plugs from these sockets. In past videos I've made, people have managed to damage these plugs and sockets, and they've just made a right royal mess of their printer. And other videos that other people make on YouTube, they don't pay attention to this, they skim over it, and then I get emails from people that have followed videos on other YouTube channels. How do I fix this problem? I've messed it up. So what we've got to do is you've got to carefully get the leads out. You don't push or pull on the socket because the soldering underneath, so up underneath here, the soldering on the circuit board is very weak, and they no longer use lead-based solder, they use lead-free solder, and that stuff is very brittle and very easy to break. So what we do is we just carefully unravel these leads, bring them out. Now to remove the plug from the socket, you've got to grab both leads and you're putting equal pressure on both leads and you're just pulling gently, and that removes the plug from the socket. Same again with the temperature sensor. You grab both leads, equal amount of pressure, and pull. And that leaves these sockets still soldered, untouched, rock solid, and we haven't damaged it. So just unravel this and we'll bring this out a bit. Alright, so the next step is we will go and pull off this cover plate. So we'll undo this screw here. Okay, and then the cover plate just simply comes out with the screw, and that leaves us with the lever and the socket here. So what this lever here does is this lever is responsible for pushing up here like so. So when you open this rear door, this lever down here pushes up here, and that releases the pressure that's placed on the film, pushing down onto the roller. So I'll push this up here, and if you have a look over here, you can see me pushing on the left takes pressure off the right. So we may have to remove this. I'm not too sure if we will have to remove this. So what we'll do next is we will grab this plug out. this is the plug that carries the 240 volts, 220 or 110, depending on which country you live in. And it's simply a case of you have to squeeze the plug to release it. So we'll go in here. And we've released that. So that's now released. So we'll move on to undoing this screw next. By the way, this is going to end up being a two-part video. The first part of the video is about removing this fuser unit, and then you can decide as the owner whether you're going to go and buy a whole new fuser assembly or whether you're going to rebuild it and reuse it. The next video will be the actual repairing of this unit. So that's just a case, we've got the leads free, both leads are free, we'll just simply grab it and pull it out. But in this case we are going to have to remove this lever, so it's just simply a case of lifting it up now all the way to the top, and pulling it out towards you like so, preferably not breaking it in the process. Unbelievable. Oh, it's not a problem, I've got plenty of those. So yeah, there is a clip on the back of this slider, and that clip there locks it behind the plate there, which unfortunately I've gone and broken, but I've got plenty of those, so we won't worry about it. Then it's just a case of grabbing the fuser and pulling it out. So there we have our fuser free. If you're buying a whole new fuser assembly and putting it in, just make sure you clean this area out here. So you can see this customer has been using non-genuine toner, and there is quite a build-up of non-genuine toner, and all this sprayed dirty toner has made its way inside of this fuser film, and it has damaged the film, as we can now see here on the left. That film is damaged, and that's simply because the non-genuine toners they've used have just been constantly spraying toner everywhere inside. Poor quality, cheap, non-genuine. So we'll have to get in here, get a rag and clean it all out. Probably get in here with a brush, a paint brush as well, and maybe get in there with the vacuum cleaner and just suck all of this sprayed dirty toner out of the printer. Alright, so that's it for part one of this video. The next part two is about repairing and overhauling of this fuser unit. So we're going to repair it back to brand new condition, replacing the film and replacing the lower roller, cleaning it up and re-greasing it. So if you want to go to that step, go to the playlist on my channel. There's playlists for every specific model that we've done work for and uploaded. Otherwise, good luck with your printers, and have a nice day.